Have you ever wondered, what if the greatest enemy in your life has been speaking with your own voice? Every fear you obey, every doubt you believe, may belong to someone who never truly existed. The ancient masters warned of one battle that no sword could ever win. It begins in silence and ends only when you finally see yourself. Long ago, a lonely traveler left his village before sunrise. He carried only a small pack, a wooden staff, and a restless heart. He believed peace was waiting somewhere beyond the horizon, so he walked without looking back. The road crossed quiet forests where the trees whispered with the wind. Yet his mind remained louder than the world around him. Days became weeks, weeks became months. Every destination felt strangely empty. No matter where he arrived, the same invisible weight followed him. It never asked permission to stay. One cold evening, he entered a forgotten valley hidden between dark mountains. The silence there felt almost alive. At the center of the valley stood an ancient stone temple. Time had weathered its walls, but not its quiet presence. The temple had no guards, no gates, and no chains. Only a single wooden door waited beneath the fading light. Above the door, a message had been carved into the stone. Only the one who conquers the unseen may enter. The traveler smiled with confidence. He had survived hunger, storms, and loneliness. This challenge seemed no different. He reached for the wooden handle. It refused to move, as though the mountain itself held it shut. He pushed harder. Then harder again. But the silent door never moved. Not even once.
Breathing heavily, he stepped back in frustration. Why won't you open?
As night covered the mountains, gentle footsteps echoed behind him. An old monk emerged from the darkness with calm, steady eyes. The traveler hurried towards him.
Tell me how to open the door.
The door is not testing your strength. It is testing your burden. The traveler looked down at his hands. They were empty. I carry nothing. The monk shook his head. The heaviest burdens are never held by the hands. They are carried by the mind. The traveler fell silent.
Those words settled deep inside him, like rain disappearing into dry earth.
Sit beside me. Do not search for answers. Simply be still.
The traveler sat upon a cold stone. The valley became so quiet that even his breathing sounded unfamiliar. For the first time in many years, he stopped running. He stopped planning. He simply watched the silence. Then, memories slowly began to rise. Not as dreams, but as living echoes from his past. He saw himself as a frightened child, desperate to be accepted, afraid of making even the smallest mistake. He saw the young man who chased success, believing achievement could silence the emptiness inside him.
Every wound that remains unseen continues to guide your footsteps.
The traveler lowered his eyes. He realized he had spent years escaping places, but never escaping himself. Fear had whispered, "You are not enough." He had believed it without ever asking if it was true. Doubt had quietly followed every decision. It never shouted. It only questioned, until confidence slowly disappeared. The monk picked up a small stone and gently dropped it into a still pool beside them. The monk picked up a small stone and gently dropped it into a still pool beside them.
Soft circles spread across the water. The reflection of the moon began to tremble with every passing ripple. The moon has not changed. Only the water has become disturbed. In the same way, your true nature remains untouched. Only your restless thoughts keep hiding it from you. The traveler stared into the water for the first time. He began to wonder if his greatest enemy had never been the world at all. The traveler closed his eyes once again. This time, he did not fight the thoughts that appeared. He simply watched them come and quietly watched them leave. Some thoughts promised success, others predicted failure. Yet every one of them disappeared, just like clouds crossing an open sky. A thought is only a visitor. It becomes your master only when you invite it to stay.
traveler took a slow, steady breath. For the first time in years, his mind no longer demanded an answer.
The silence felt different now. It was no longer empty. It was peaceful.
As dawn approached, the valley filled with soft, golden light. The mountains stood exactly where they had always stood. Nothing in the world had changed overnight, yet something deep within the traveler had become wonderfully still.
He stood and walked toward the ancient temple once more. His steps were calm. His heart carried no urgency.
He placed one hand upon the wooden door. This time, he did not push. He simply rested his palm against it.
Without a single sound, the door slowly opened on its own. It had never been locked.
The trade stepped inside with quiet wonder. The temple held no treasure, no throne, and no hidden riches. At the center of the room stood only a single mirror, illuminated by the first light of the morning sun.
He looked into the mirror. The face staring back at him was the same, but the eyes were different.
The fear was still there. The doubt was still there. But neither one was in control anymore.
The monk's voice echoed gently behind him. Peace begins the moment you stop believing every thought you hear.
The traveler smiled. It was not the smile of victory over the world, but the smile of freedom from himself. He finally understood that the strongest prison had never been built from stone. It had been built from unquestioned beliefs. And the key had been in his own awareness from the very beginning.
Years passed, and the traveler continued his journey. The roads were still uncertain, but his heart no longer feared every turn. Storms still arrived without warning. Loss still visited his life. But neither one could steal the peace he had discovered within.
He learned that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to keep walking while fear quietly follows behind.
He learned that wisdom and collecting more answers. It is asking better questions. Whenever anger appeared, he no longer fought it. He watched it rise and watched it disappear like morning mist. Whenever anger appeared, he no longer fought it. He watched it rise and watched it disappear like morning mist. Whenever doubt knocked at his mind, he welcomed it with calm curiosity instead of silent obedience. People began asking why he always looked so peaceful. They believed he had found a secret hidden somewhere in the world. I stopped searching outside. Everything changed after that.
One young man asked, "Where can I find the greatest teacher?"
The traveler gently placed a hand over the young man's heart.
The greatest teacher has always been waiting behind your silence. Few people stay still long enough to hear it.
The young man lowered his head. For the first time, he understood that silence is not emptiness. It is awareness.
The traveler continued walking beneath the endless sky. Every sunrise became a quiet reminder that each new day begins inside the mind first. He no longer chased happiness. He simply lived with presence, and happiness quietly found him along the way. Remember this: your greatest enemy is rarely another person. Most often, it is the voice that tells you to doubt your own light.
The day you stop believing every fearful thought, the day you stop believing as a prisoner of your own mind.
The world may never become easier, but you can become calmer, wiser, and stronger with every conscious breath. Conquer the enemy within, and no enemy outside will ever have the power to conquer you again.
If this story brought a moment of clarity to your mind or peace to your soul, please leave a like and subscribe to Elevate Morals TV. Let us continue this journey of wisdom together. May your path ahead be filled with purpose and peace. Thank you for watching, and take deep care of yourself.